Hi there, 314ers. So let's go over this week's material, and I'll have a couple other things obviously at the end of that as well. But first, we have higher order functions and we have Intro to Dr. Racket. Now, both of those are going to be included in your flipped lab that you're doing this week. So, by the way, Dr. Racket is going to be a newer IDE for you to compile your scheme program. I'll share the material for that here in a moment. It's easier, let's put it that way, but it also has some different functionality to it as well. Remember, I talked about each scheme has its flavor. Well, Dr. Racket has its own flavor too, and I cover some of that, but in general, I've tried to keep all the content that we've talked about so far in that scenario that you had either one that it should work out. But be careful. Let's just put it that way. Also be careful with the lab this coming week. There's going to be some questions where there might be a really quick, easy answer by using mapping or filtering or something like that. That's not what I want. I want you to do it the long way, especially with the higher order functions that actually can make it easier in the long run. So let's find where these are. They're going to be under course materials, higher order functions. There it is, currying and higher order functions. Currying, higher order, there it is, the lecture video and the Word doc. I don't think the video's all that long and the Word doc's not all that long either, but it's really important stuff for higher order functions because you can actually use that in C++ and in Java. So it's very, very nice you use a function as a parameter. So it's really, really pretty neat. So let's go back here real quick, and then the Dr. Racket stuff is right there. Introduction to Dr. Racket. It has an installation for both Macs and for PCs, so that's good. Really, honestly, these are only a couple of pages, and that's it. It's more going over. I'll just leave it at that. It's going into it, and that's about it. So nothing really completely crazy with this one. This is an easier week compared to last week. I know you'll need it. And then next week it starts getting more interesting again with trees. So let me go back to the calendar, and you'll see trees next week, grammars after that, and, well, we just keep going. We have another few more weeks before midterms, so we don't have to worry about all of that. Let's see, grades-wise, everything should be good to go when it comes to, we just started grading last week's lab, and I'll get into last week's lab here in a moment. Those grades should be caught up there. Let me know if they are not. Also, make sure that they're consistent, meaning that you and your partner got the same grade. We've had it once in a while, it's different, but usually it's a quick fix. Now, last week's lab, yes, there was a timer issue. I'm not sure what happened because it only happened to some of you, and some of you it obviously did happen. All labs are 2 hours, period. So pretend, even though I've already talked to the help desk and stuff like that, pretend that on, let's say Friday, you take your lab with your partner. The timer doesn't come up. Just take note of what you have, for a time and right around 2 hours. If you're 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 5 minutes, I'm not going to be worried about it. If you're 3 hours, it's a different story. 2.5 hours, yeah, different story. But hopefully the timer will be fixed. I don't know what happened, honestly. The settings look great. There was no difference. I don't know what happened, but I'll keep an eye on it. But also keep an eye on yourself that if you don't have the timer come up, you know it's going to be around 2 hours. I think you also know by now, we're doing this online, not face-to-face. Crap's going to happen. I am not going to be Mr., try not to be the jerk. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to try to give you as much flexibility as possible. If something goes wrong, that's not your fault. Last week's lab, if you didn't have a timer, not your fault. So we're going to figure out how to do all the grading for that behind the scenes. So otherwise, this is, well, that's the topics for the week. Grading, we're done. Personally, nothing's crazy with 3 kids. Other than that, we're in great shape. Let me know if you need anything. Piazza's doing pretty well here with questions, and yeah, we're in good shape, I think. Otherwise, you need to let me know. Thank you, and I'll see you later on this week.